There are loads of perks in Fallout 4, and all of them have their own benefits that help some playstyles over others. And some perks can be seen as being super popular or classed as a must have no matter what your playstyle is. So perhaps things like Lone Wanderer if you don't like companions, Scrounger, a specific weapon perk to be able to upgrade your favourite weapon type, maybe Aqua Boy and Aqua Girl, as well as amongst one or two others. But there are a number of perks that are classed as underrated for various reasons, and that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get stuck into those underrated Fallout 4 perks. And if you get to the end of this video and you think there are some more underrated Fallout 4 perks I haven't mentioned in this video, why don't you leave a comment letting us all know what that perk is and why you think it's underrated. I'd love to hear what your thoughts on them are. The first perk we're going to talk about is Strong Back, and you may be wondering why I'm including it in this list when all it does is give you extra carry weight early on, but it's not the only perk that actually does that. At level 1, Strong Back is going to give you an extra 25 carry weight, and at level 2 it's going to give you an extra 50 carry weight. And then you have Lone Wanderer, which I mentioned a second ago, which is going to give you an extra 50 carry weight straight off the bat, followed by an extra 100 carry weight at level 2, assuming you don't have a companion of course. So you may be thinking, what's the point in unlocking Strong Back if you're already using Lone Wanderer? Well, the main reason is the 3rd and 4th levels of it, and the 5th level if you have Far Harbour, because this is where the perk becomes super useful and definitely worth the upgrade to those higher levels. Basically, if you're a little bit like me when playing Fallout or any Bethesda game for that matter, you'll find yourself collecting a bunch of stuff on your travels, so things like basic resources and weapons and everything in between. You'll find yourself over encumbered reasonably quickly, and at level 3 of Strong Back, that allows you to use action points to run whilst you're over encumbered. So you're not stuck walking around at a snail's pace, which can be deadly in a game like Fallout 4, especially if you play survival mode. And it gets even better at level 4 because this means you can then fast travel if you're over encumbered as well, meaning you can say fast travel to a settlement and drop a bunch of resources off, or fast travel to say, I don't know, Diamond City or any other store throughout the Commonwealth and sell a bunch of stuff so it makes your life much easier. And finally though, if you do play survival, you'll not become injured if you're over encumbered in this case instead of being able to fast travel, which is certainly useful as well. The next two, well actually 3 perks are kind of related, so I'll cover them in one after the other, especially though if you're playing in survival mode you should be unlocking at least one, maybe a couple of these perks, and the first one is Critical Banker. What this does, it allows you to bank a single critical hit at level 1, 2 critical hits at level 2, 3 critical hits at level 3, and if you have Far Harbour you can bank 4 critical hits at level 4. This is a very useful perk to have that not everyone decides to unlock. But if you find yourself in a critical situation, yes, that pun was intended, then having a critical hit or multiple critical hits in the bank can definitely save your ass from getting blown up or killed in some other funky fashion. Now, I also mentioned a great perk to go with it, and that is better criticals, for the main reason being your criticals will be doing a lot more damage. Even at level 1, you'll be getting a 50% damage boost, and if you get up to level 3, your criticals will be getting you 2.5 times the amount of damage. Again, quite essential for survival mode. And I also mentioned there is a 3rd perk you can pair with one or both of these, and that is Grim Reaper Sprint. Because what that does, it gives you an increased chance of restoring all of your action points for a single kill. Like any kill, doesn't really matter, as long as you're in VATS. Not many people decide to go down the route of greatly enhancing critical hits in Fallout 4, but you should definitely be looking at unlocking one or more of the Critical Banker, Better Criticals, or Grim Reaper Sprint to enhance your combat efficiency, especially if you're playing in survival mode. Right, let's move on for criticals, and these days a lot of games allow your health to regenerate without you actually doing anything other than avoiding taking any damage for a short amount of time. But as we all know, that isn't the case in Fallout 4 and other Bethesda games, because usually you'd have to consume aid in various forms in order to regain that health, or in this case also reduce your radiation damage. But thankfully there are 2 underrated and probably underutilized perks you can get in Fallout 4 to regenerate your health or reduce your radiation damage to some degree. Those 2 perks are Solar Powered and Life Givers. As you may or may not have figured out, solar powered just kind of works during the daylight hours, so between 6 AM and 6 PM. Level 1 is going to give you a strength and endurance boost during the day, But level 2 and 3 are where this perk really comes into its own. At level 2, your radiation damage will be healed slowly and surely, and level 3 will regenerate your health, both of which are during the day. Albeit slowly, but it's better than not having that at all, am I wrong? Life Giver is similar, sort of. The first 2 levels will give you an extra boost to your maximum health, but level 3 is going to slowly regenerate your lost health, regardless of whether it's day or night. So the main thing is, get yourself one or perhaps both of these 2 perks, and get them to a higher level and your health will be regenerating as you're wandering around. You'll probably find you'll end up with a large quantity of stim packs this way, because who needs those anyway where your health regenerates itself. These perks will be particularly useful if you're playing in survival mode as well. Another underrated perk for a survival playthrough, at least in my opinion, is Sneak. Now, I like playing, or at least I like trying to play Fallout using some stealth tactics every now and again, and Sneak, as you probably expect by the name, is the perfect perk for doing exactly that. There are 5 levels to the Sneak perk, and each one up until level 4 will make you harder to detect when sneaking around, and if you do manage to get to the 5th level, and assuming an enemy is far enough away, that enemy is going to lose sight of you instantly when you, say, crouch. So it's kind of ideal if you're playing in survival mode and find yourself in a little bit of bother. You can just run away and sneak around and they'll lose you straight away. You can regain some health with those previous perks and then replan your attack. And if you do decide you want to use the Sneak perk, it also works really well with the Ninja perk because that will make both your ranged and close quarter melee sneak attacks more deadly. 3.5 times normal damage for ranged attacks at level 3 and 10 times more damage for close quarter melee attacks. So if you're into the stealthy approach of Fallout 4, then get yourself the Sneak perk and if possible, pair it with the Ninja perk and you'll become a deadly silent assassin in no time at all. One often overlooked perk, again, especially when playing in survival mode, I think is Chemist. The benefits of this is simple. Any chems you take will last longer with each level, starting at 50% longer from level 1, going all the way up to 200% longer at level 4. I would say even if you only use chems from time to time, like when you find yourself in a bit of a sticky situation, then even level 1 of this perk will be worth your time for that extended effectiveness of the certain chems you actually use. Obviously, if you never use chems, like at all, like don't ever use them whatsoever, don't bother with Chemist, but if you do use them even sparingly, I would say get Chemist at least level 1 because you won't regret it. In fact, it'll probably make you use chems more often if you unlock this perk. Everyone has their preferences when it comes to different weapons in Fallout 4, so whether you prefer using pistols, shotguns, rifles, automatic guns, and everything in between, but one underrated perk if you're into your automatic weapons or even pistols is Steady Aim. So Steady Aim works for any gun, but it'll be most useful for automatic weapons. And I think, well, the premise is obviously simple. When you're hip firing, your aim is greatly improved. Sometimes when you're aiming down the sights, your movement speed is restricted a little bit too much for certain situations. And in those situations, you just want to hip fire at close and medium range to wipe everything out quickly. You know, Call of Duty style. And of course, Steady Aim allows you to do that very well. If you love an automatic weapon in Fallout 4, definitely consider unlocking Steady Aim when you get the chance. It'll make you much more effective and quicker in close quarters. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, if you think there are some other underrated Fallout 4 perks I haven't mentioned in this video, why don't you leave a comment letting us know what that perk is and why you think it is underrated. The more underrated perks we can get in the comment section, the better. And that's all for today, folks. There are some of the most underrated perks in Fallout 4. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you found it useful. And if you are still here, it would be totally awesome if you could support my channel by hitting those like and subscribe buttons. You can now become a channel member as well, and as always, thank you for watching this video and I hope to catch you in my next one.